All right, diving in today, folks, we're going deep, really deep into, well, seduction, specifically through this guy, Søren Kierkegaard, and The Seducer's Diary. And we've got John Updike's take on it all to help us navigate.
Yeah, and I know right off the bat, seduction, maybe not the most comfortable topic,
Yeah.
but stick with us. It's really a chance to kind of pick apart how we work, psychologically, the push and pull in relationships, how we influence each other, all seen through this well, genius, really, Kierkegaard.
Yeah.
Updike, he's like our guide through it all.
Yeah, controversial genius at that. So we're working with John Updike's essay on The Seducer's Diary.
Hmm.
And he does this great job showing how this book, it's not just about seduction, right? It's like this window into how we go after what we want, and it ties back to Kierkegaard's own life, his broken engagement, all that.
Totally. And our mission for you listening is to walk through this together. Figure out the why, the how of this whole seduction thing in the diary. What does it tell us about people, relationships? We're going to make this interesting, I promise. So where do we even begin? Well, how about with this big event in his life, the broken engagement with Regine Olsen?
Yeah, yeah. This wasn't just some little fling gone wrong, right?
Right,
And
yeah.
Updike, he points out the timing of it all happened right before Kierkegaard really starts writing like crazy. Seems important.
It's huge. Engaged for about a year, they were. Everything looked, well, normal, right? Good families in Copenhagen. Seemed like a match. But then later, Kierkegaard writes in his journals just this simple line: "The next day I saw that I had made a blunder." Just boom. It tells you everything, doesn't it? So much going on beneath the surface.
And that takes us to this idea Updike puts out there
Hmm.
that this pain, this blunder, it fueled his writing, especially with The Seducer's Diary. It's like he's, I don't know, using the character to dissect himself almost.
Exactly, like a lab experiment almost. And Updike, he describes the book so well. He says it's a feverishly intellectual attempt to reconstruct an erotic failure as a pedagogic success, a wound masked as a boast. It's bold, right? He's not just telling a story. He's trying to make sense of it all, maybe justify it intellectually.
Updike even calls it a weaning process.
Hmm.
That's pretty stark. What's he getting at there? Weaning from what exactly?
Right. It's like he's cutting off something intentionally, improbably, painfully. Could be from the person he wants, or maybe from the idea of love itself. And he talks about the breast blackened, right? Making something that was good seem bad so you can move on. It's calculated, almost cold, this way of breaking things off.
Then there's this strategy of retreating before her superior force.
Yeah.
That seems backwards. How does Updike explain that? What's the genius in that, if there is any?
It's manipulation, but done really well.
Hmm.
By pulling back, not being too pushy, the seducer, he ends up controlling things, even the romantic side of it. Makes the other person uncertain, curious, and then they want him more. Like he creates this space they gotta fill.
And all this thinking, planning, it's happening in like real Copenhagen. Updike talks about the tidy society and sudden sea views. It's this weird mix of like super intellectual and totally normal.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so interesting. It shows how fake the whole thing is, what the seducer's doing. He's trying to force this like controlled plan onto something that's messy, emotions, relationships. Updike even compares it to Kafka and his weird letters, all those mind games he played. It's like intellectual fencing, but with your heart.
And Regine, also the woman at the center of this,
Hmm.
she becomes this like legendary figure almost because of how Kierkegaard writes about her, right?
Hmm.
Updike says she lives a long life, even after Kierkegaard and her husband, and people said she was radiantly beautiful later on, even giving interviews about this stuff from her youth.
It's ironic, isn't it? Kierkegaard's all twisted up inside, maybe even hurting her, but she just keeps going, lives this good life. Updike even says maybe it's Kierkegaard himself through his writing that makes her seem so dignified, so strong. It makes you think, whose story is it really? How much do we trust what we read?
Let's get into the diary itself, this commentarius perpetuus, the running commentary the narrator finds. The way he finds it, it's interesting, right? Open on the desk, not even locked. Like maybe it's meant to be seen.
Yeah, good point. The unlocked desk, this fancy book with a title that makes you curious, right? It's not exactly hiding. The narrator even says he was drawn in by this striking title. It's almost like the seducer wants someone to look, maybe to see how good his act is.
And then there are these papers scattered around. Updike describes them as impressions of erotic situations, intimations of some relationship or other, drafts of calculatedly nonchalant letters. It's like he's building this image, even when he's alone, right?
Exactly, like he's always performing, always thinking about how he looks, even to himself. Even the letters, they seem casual, but they're carefully written, like he knows someone might read them someday. The narrator even talks about this contriving heart, always working, always scheming.
Updike says this diary, it's not like historical fact, right? He says it's not indicative, but subjunctive. For those of us who didn't major in literature, what does that even mean, and why does it matter?
Okay, so think of it this way. Indicative is just saying what eyes, like the sky is blue.
Hmm.
Subjunctive is about what could be, what maybe happened, what someone wants to happen, like if only the sky were green. So the diary, it's not facts, it's possibilities. How the seducer saw things, maybe how he wished things went. It's his version, not necessarily the truth.
And the names in it, they're all strange, except maybe Cordelia. Updike says it probably wasn't meant to be, like, published or anything. What does that tell us?
It makes it seem more like a personal thing, just for him, right? A place to figure out his moves, to tell his own story, even experiment with reality a bit. The weird names, they're like a code, keeping it private. And Updike says there's this poetic tinge, like for Kierkegaard, poetry and real life, they blurred together.
Updike talks about two kinds of enjoyment for the seducer. Enjoying the actual experience, then enjoying how he looks in that experience when he writes about it. It's like he's detached from it all. Why
Yeah.
the two stages?
It's weird, right? First, he gets a kick out of it, the whole seduction game, the control. But then he steps back and enjoys his own performance, like he's watching a movie of himself. The real experience, it becomes this material he can shape and admire. It's not about connection anymore. It's about, I don't know, art almost.
Which takes us to this idea of the other world, this metaphor Updike uses of the stage and the hidden world behind it. It's like the guy's there, but not really what's going on there.
It's like he's not in the moment in the real world. This other world, it's more interesting to him, maybe easier to control. Updike says it can come from different things, health or sickness. But with Kierkegaard, it's more like his brain's just working overtime. The normal world isn't exciting enough for him.
So his strength, his smarts, they become a problem in a way. Real life can't compete with his own thoughts, so he disengages. Updike even calls it evil. That's a strong word. What does he mean by that?
He means turning away from real connection, choosing this made-up world, and then hurting people because of it. It's like he's using his gifts for the wrong things, not for good, but for control and distance. It's a choice to hurt others, and that's the evil part.
And the women involved, they're not like typical victims, right? Updike says they're not the unfortunate girls you might expect. What's different about them?
They're not broken outwardly, not in a way everyone sees, but Updike says they get bent into themselves, lose their connection to others, can't find themselves. It's like a hidden damage. He uses this image of a journey with no footprints, but something's changed underneath.
Makes you think about the quiet damage someone can do, the kind you don't see right away. Updike also talks about how the seducer, he could fall apart too. Not like a punishment from the outside, but something else. What does he see happening?
He thinks the seducer will get lost in his own game, you know. He'll keep scheming until he loses track. His own cleverness will turn against him, like a conscience waking up too late. He'll try to escape, but there's nowhere to go because it's all in his head.
And this punishment, it's not about right and wrong, really. It's purely aesthetic, Updike says. The conscience is more like a restless higher consciousness than a judge. He's not sorry exactly, but he's messed up. What's the difference there?
It means his pain isn't because he feels guilty and wants to be forgiven. It's because he can't stop thinking, scheming, and it drives him crazy. He's trapped in his own mind, but he's not insane because he can still think clearly. It's this weird in-between state.
Okay, let's hear from Cordelia now, through her letters in the diary. That first letter, it's intense. She's calling him out, but also still devoted to him. What's going on there psychologically?
It's all these mixed up emotions, right? She says, he's my seducer, my deceiver, my enemy, my murderer. Like, wow. But then she says, I am still yours. It shows how much he's messed her up, how tied to him she is. Even when she's angry, she can't let go. It's messed up devotion, if that makes sense.
And in the second letter, it shifts.
Yeah.
She's almost begging him to love her again, even though he's being cold. She wants him to be patient, to forgive her. What does that tell us about her?
She's strong, in a way, or maybe just desperate. She can't accept that it's over, that he doesn't care. She's holding on to what they had, hoping it'll come back. Updike says it's her modulation, how her tone changes. That's really powerful. It's what she doesn't say that's so sad.
The narrator, he gives us these little glimpses into how Johannes actually seduces these word pictures he uses, like that scene with the beautiful stranger and the carriage. It's a perfect example of how calculated he is. How does he do it?
It's all about the details, right? He notices her charming tiny foot, but it's not creepy. It's like playful. He acts concerned, warns her not to leap out, and he puts himself under the lamp so he can see her, but she can't see him. He's setting up the whole thing.
And that mirror scene in the shop, he's watching her reflection, but she doesn't know. The mirror contemplating her like a humble slave.
Yeah.
What's he doing there?
Power play, pure and simple. He sees her, she doesn't see him. It makes him feel in control even before they talk. The mirror, it's like his spy almost, watching her for him. It's all planned to make their meeting seem like fate or something.
And then that chance meeting near Aunt Jet's house. Everything's set up, how she looks, where she is. Updike compares his look, his lands from below, to fencing. Why fencing?
Because it's a strategy, right? It's not just looking, it's testing her defenses, figuring out how to move in, and then boom, the lunge. That's like his whole seduction plan, one move after another until she's trapped.
He's always setting things up, stage managing encounters and orchestrating impressions like he's directing a play and everyone else is just an actor. What's that say about how he sees people?
It's pretty cynical, right? He doesn't think connections just happen. Everything's a game, a performance. He's using people to tell his story, not really caring about them. And Updike talks about these actions in distance, things happening at a distance, like he's got all these strings he's pulling, all these plans going at once.
Updike also says he's good at understanding women, their wants and weaknesses. How does he do that from what we see in the diary?
He kind of takes away their womanliness, Updike says, gets them thinking, debating, sometimes even makes fun of them, but in a subtle way. He pretends it's all intellectual, equal, but it's not. He makes them feel smart, but he's still in control.
There's this idea of tangential contact in an interesting situation. That seems to be his go-to move. Why does that work?
Because it's sneaky, right?
Yeah.
He finds something Cordelia's already into, something interesting, and he gets close, but not too close, just enough to become part of the experience without being pushy. The goal is to wear down the potency of the interesting, make him the most interesting part.
He even changes his tactics. Sometimes he's all poetic, then he's more down to earth, full. Did you switch?
To keep her guessing, maybe. Once she gets used to one thing, he changes it up, keeps her interested, keeps her off balance. It's like he knows how to play the game, keep the excitement going, even when it's all fake.
He even thinks at one point that Cordelia will, rescue the interesting from being ruined by falling for him. Pretty arrogant, right?
Totally. He thinks he's saving her, like her life is boring until H.E. comes along. Makes him feel good about himself, right? Justifies the whole thing. It's twisted.
And the little things he plans, like her hat flying off, or how he talks to his friends when she's around. It's all so carefully done. Why bother with the small stuff?
Because it all adds up, right? It creates the image he wants, the mood he wants. It's all for effect. To control how she sees him, how she feels.
He even uses nature to seduce her, like in that scene with the wind, the zephyr. How does he do that?
He takes something that feels good, natural, the breeze, and he makes it about him. Like he's the source of the pleasure. It's conditioning almost. Make her associate him with good feelings.
And the way he watches that other couple, the ones who are so in sync, Updike calls it their harmonia praestabilita. It's like he's studying them, but he can't figure it out.
He can see it, but he can't feel it, right? He can analyze it, but he can't have it himself, not naturally. It shows how messed up he is, that he has to manipulate to get any kind of connection.
He says he can love lots of women in different ways all at once. Is that like a real thing, or is it just another way to avoid getting too close to anyone?
Updike makes it sound like another way to control things, you know? Spread his feelings out so no one has too much power over him. It's love, but without the risk.
And the secrets, the whole secrecy of their affair, how does that work in his favor?
Secrets make things feel special, even if it's a bad secret. It's like they have this little world no one else knows about, and that's powerful. It binds them together, even if it's built on lies.
He talks about shaping for myself a heart like unto hers, like trying to be just like her. But it sounds fake, doesn't it?
It's fake empathy. He's not really feeling what she feels. He's studying it so he can use it against her. It's a trick to make her trust him, open up to him.
And the way he sets up their surroundings, like that lamp, the willow matting, it's also specific. He's not just controlling the moment, he's controlling how she'll remember it too, right?
Totally. He knows how our senses work, how they tie into memory. He wants her to remember everything the way He wants her to create this perfect image of their time together. It's controlling the past and the present. And Updike points out the difference with Emily, how she is more grounded while Cordelia is up in the air, out of reach.
Even the words he uses, like that rhyme between Langsel and Fengsel, longing and prison in Danish, he's playing with language, isn't he?
Absolutely. He knows words have power. By connecting those two ideas, he's planting this suggestion in her mind, this link between wanting something and feeling trapped. It's subtle, but it works.
And that carriage ride, it's so dramatic, like they're escaping together. What's the point of that?
To make her feel something big and exciting, like they're running away from the world, just the two of them, it creates this intense moment, this bond, even if it's all part of his plan.
He even uses other women, like Charlotte Hahn, to get himself in the right mood for Cordelia. It's kind of cold, isn't it?
Yeah, he's using people like tools, right? Charlotte, she's just there to get him feeling a certain way, and then he takes those feelings to Cordelia. It's all about him, all about what He wants.
That scene in the forest, where she's not really there, but he feels her presence so strongly. It's almost obsessive, isn't it?
It's about wanting to possess her completely, not just physically, but in his mind, too. When she's gone, when he can't control her, it drives him crazy. He has to have her in every way.
He says that at first he was the most interesting person to himself, but now it's Cordelia. Do you think he really changed, or is it still just him looking at a new object?
I think it's still him. She's just a new puzzle to figure out, a new challenge. He's not interested in her really. He's interested in the game he can play with her.
But he says he's in love with her. Is that real, or is it just part of the act?
It's hard to say, right? Maybe a part of him does feel something real, but it's buried under all his manipulation. Or maybe he's just convincing himself so he can keep playing the game.
He wants to be in her thoughts constantly, this mental concupiscence. That seems like a big part of what he's trying to do. Why?
Control, right. If he's in her head, he can control her. He can shape how she sees the world, how she feels, what she does. It's the ultimate power move.
He says love isn't just a memory, it's part of him, who he is. He even twists that myth about Ariadne and Theseus, puts Cupid and Nemesis in it instead. What's he doing there?
He's trying to make it all sound bigger than it is, more important. Cupid's love, Nemesis is fate. He's saying it's meant to be, that he can't help himself, so it's not his fault.
He says if he stopped loving her, he stopped loving himself. That's messed up, right?
Totally. He needs her to feel good about himself. It's not real love. It's using someone to fill a hole in yourself.
He talks about belonging to her, about self-annihilation, like he wants to disappear into her. It sounds almost religious.
It's twisted devotion. He's not giving himself to her. He's trying to control her by making her think he's completely hers. It's all about power disguised as surrender.
He says his love's consuming him, that only his voice is left, whispering to her. So dramatic.
It's all an act designed to sweep her off her feet. He wants her to see him as this incredibly passionate lover, even if it's all fake.
He compares his soul to a river in love with her.
Another pretty image, right? But think about it. A river, it shapes the land, changes it. That's what he's doing to her, trying to mold her into what he wants.
He's so good at manipulating people, using little things like that note he slips into her knitting. Why do those small things work so well?
They catch you off guard, right? In the middle of a big social thing, he creates this little private moment. It makes their connection feel stronger, more special. He's a master of timing.
He watches other women all the time, like that Nightbother girl, always comparing, analyzing. What's he looking for?
He's trying to figure them out like a scientist. He wants to know how they work so he can control them better. It's not about understanding them as people. It's about finding their weaknesses.
He wants to make the pastor superfluous in Cordelia's life.
Yeah.
Like, get rid of him completely. Why?
He wants to be the only one she listens to, the only one who tells her what's right and wrong. He wants to isolate her, make her dependent on him.
He thinks about kissing, how it's less exciting in marriage. Like, he only cares about the beginning, the chase.
Yeah, he's addicted to the thrill of the new, the excitement of conquest. Once it's settled, once it's real love, he's bored.
He even creates problems on purpose, misunderstandings, like that thing with the letter at the party.
Drama keeps things interesting, right? It makes their connection more intense, more secretive. It's all part of the game for him.
When she resists him, he doesn't see it as rejection. He calls it erotic power. Says she's like Aphrodite fighting.
He can't handle the idea of her saying no, so he turns it into something good, something that turns him on. It's all about his ego.
He knows exactly how far to push her, how to keep her from feeling trapped.
He's smart. He knows if he goes too fast, she'll run. It's about keeping her on the edge, just enough pressure to keep her hooked.
He talks about this black shadow that keeps coming up, something
Yeah.
small but disturbing.
It's like his conscience is trying to break through, telling him what he's doing is wrong, but he pushes it down, ignores it.
He thinks the engagement is both ridiculous and important. He wants to lead her away from what's expected in marriage.
He thinks he knows better, that he can offer her something more, even if it's all based on lies. He's playing God, basically, deciding what's best for her.
He's obsessed with women, with understanding them. It's almost scientific.
It's all about control, figuring them out so he can get what he wants. He breaks them down into parts, like a specimen, not a person.
He talks about female beauty in such detail, but it's also kind of creepy how he sees them.
He reduces them to their looks, their bodies. It's not about appreciating them, it's about possessing them.
He even says he'd choose Cordelia over heaven.
It sounds romantic, but it's just another way of saying she's his haith, that he owns her, even her soul.
He says that women being for others means they're pure, free in nature. It's a pretty old-fashioned way of looking at things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's stuck in the past, this idea that women are defined by men, by their beauty. It lets him see Cordelia as this perfect ideal, not a real person.
He says men asking to marry is a question, women choosing is the answer. He gets the power dynamic there, doesn't he?
He sees that women have the final say, even in a world where men seem to be in charge. But he still wants to control that choice, to manipulate it.
He talks about this abstract cruelty that can hide behind a woman's shyness. That's kind of dark, isn't it?
It's the idea that even seeming innocent can be a way to hurt someone, to play with their feelings. It's power, but in a sneaky way.
He comes up with this essay question, comparing the modesty of young girls to wives.
He likes to stir things up, make people uncomfortable. He wants to challenge how people think, even if it's just to justify his own messed up views.
He uses the ant to get what he wants, manipulates her too.
He doesn't care who he hurts as long as he gets his way. Everyone's just a pawn in his game.
He sends Cordelia to the country, makes sure she's comfortable, but also alone.
Isolation is key, right? He wants her away from anyone who might influence her, make her doubt him. He needs her all to himself.
He compares their connection to that myth, Alpheus and Arethusa, the river god and the nymph.
It's romantic, but it's also a lie. He's tried to make their bond seem magical, fated, when it's really just manipulation.
He makes sure she finds that book, Amor and Psyche.
Planting ideas, right. He wants those stories to work on her subconscious, make her see their relationship in a certain way.
And in the end, he's just waiting for his reward. It's all about him, isn't it?
Always has been. All the planning, the scheming, it's all to get what he wants. He doesn't love her. He loves the idea of conquering her.
So this Seducer's Diary, it's a pretty disturbing look at how someone can twist love into something dark and manipulative.
Yeah, it's not a love story. It's a horror story almost, but it makes you think, about the games people play, the power they have over each other.
It makes you wonder, are we all playing games in some way, influencing each other, being influenced without even realizing it?
It's a question worth asking ourselves, right? Where does our influence end and manipulation begin?
And if you're intrigued by all this, I definitely recommend checking out more Kierkegaard's work or going back to Updike's essay. There's a lot to unpack there.
Absolutely. And thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the dark side of the human heart, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Until next time, keep thinking, keep questioning, and maybe watch your back a little.
Yeah, watch your back.